I like that. I like that idea a lot.
All right. We're just
I
going to
like
go.
it all.
We're just going to do it.
Okay.
Here we go. Make sure I got this up in front of me. I do. Okay. All right, here we go. Let the Tuesday madness begin in 3, 2. Are we recording? Hold on. No, we're not. Yeah, now we are. We are now. In 3, 2, 1.
I'll have the sirloin. One sirloin. Earth or Martian? Well, what's the difference? Well, the Earth sirloin's from genuine steers, $24 a pound. The Martian sirloin's from a domestic sleuth.
Serious shit. Mountain grown for richer flavor. This is the Morning Stream.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TMS. It's the Morning Stream for Tuesday, July 23rd, 2019. I'm Scott. He's Brian. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning to you.
Is it, though? Is it? Is it a
You
good
know,
morning?
I think it is.
Convince
right?
me! Convince me!
Well, it's the 23rd, right?
Right,
so
yeah.
it's no longer a Monday. We're what, 3/4 of the way through the month?
Mm-hmm.
More than 3/4 of the way through the month. So
Yeah.
we've got a brand new, fresh start of a brand new month coming up in a
Sure.
few days. We're not on the leading edge of your birthday. It's past. It's past. We don't need to worry about your birthday anymore, right? It's like
Oh!
it's behind you. It's in the rearview mirror.
All right, that did it. That was it. Well done.
Was
I
that
feel
the thing?
oh,
that
I'm
was
having
the
such-
that was the thing.
Yeah,
huh?
I'm having such a better day now. All of a sudden, I feel great now.
Okay, good.
Everything's great. Yeah.
Woo.
That's how I know. I always know it's this time of month because I get two things right around now. I get a bill from Comcast Xfinity for my business class internet, which I don't like looking at. And
Okay.
it's too high. I pay way too much for that. And then I also get a alarm from Amazon saying, your server that holds all your feeds in it has gone beyond this amount. You should know that you're higher than you. Because here's the thing with the Frog Pants slew of shows. We don't drop in numbers. We tend to gain, sometimes slowly, but over time, they go up and up and up. And
Cool.
so I have to split feeds and do weird things and all of that, but yet I still get the alarm. The alarm sounds, it's some server in Virginia in some rack going, boop.
Right.
And that's the
Oh
way
no,
it is.
he's exceeded again. Burp.
Yep.
Yeah.
So everyone out there, exceed your expectations and exceed
right.
your server limits.
And don't let that stop you from continuing to listen to the show. Let us handle the alarms. We're good with that.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. No
yeah.
problem. We got those
You
alarms.
enjoy the show. We'll handle the alarms.
All that stuff in the background, you guys don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry
Right.
about it. You don't have to call in about it. You don't have to bother yourselves with it. Let us do the heavy lifting. Let you have our voices seep into your ears slowly like syrup.
Do the heavy listening.
The heavy listening.
Yes.
That was the better line.
We'll do the heavy lifting. You do the heavy listening.
What? That's a T-shirt or something. It's something, isn't it?
Well, you do the heavy listening, or something like that. There's something. There's something there.
There's something there.
We'll
All right.
workshop that.
Yeah, all right. We'll see what we can do.
I
Yeah,
saw.
go
I meant to mention this. I saw Toy Story 4 over the weekend.
Oh.
I feel like there's an opportunity for us to do a Woody and Buzz parody with the two of us.
Yeah.
You as Woody, me as Buzz.
Okay.
And then the Toy Story logo with TMS stream or something like that. TMS.
I'd be down with that. Because that big
I'll
toy,
I'll play around with that.
that big toy
I've
logo
got an
with
Apple
the
Pencil.
Yeah, look what you've got.
And an iPad. Let
Yeah.
me futz around with that. See what I can come up with.
I have an apple. I have a pen. Pineapple pen.
A pen apple.
All right. So, how was that though? I meant to. I
Oh,
didn't know you'd seen it. Was it good?
I enjoy. Oh, you haven't seen it yet.
No, we're trying to go tonight. We don't know if it's gonna happen.
I enjoyed it tremendously, and even though Toy Story 3 felt like, okay, now we've got the ending for the story. Now it's like, oh, okay, this one's more of an ending. This one feels like it's an ending and not a nobody dies. It's not like
No, but it feels like a true ending, kind of.
right, like Buzz Lightyear's batteries fall out of his butt, and the last scene is, don't forget me, avenge me. That's what it is.
Wow.
Avenge me, Woody!
So this has, by the way, nobody clip that and use it as a propaganda Hitler poster, please. That'd be great.
I didn't have the fingers closed.
No.
I had the fingers open.
Right, there's a difference.
This is Jack Kirby right here. Like this is
Right.
This is the
It was funny. Anyway, so here's the deal. I want to see that, and I'm excited about it. And I hear Buster's good as that weird Forky character, and I just want to see it.
I'd
So,
forgotten it was him doing the voice until about three quarters of the way through, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Tony Hale. Duh.
Yeah, and how was? I mean, he was good. Yeah, right. Like he's.
He
Pretty,
was good. There's a like a Talkie Tina style doll that's voiced by Christina Hendricks,
Yeah,
and she does a great job. Very good job.
I like her. She's good.
She's good. You should
Always
watch that Good
entertaining.
Girls, by the way. It's
Oh,
excellent.
I saw 2 episodes and really liked it so far.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, I didn't. I can't remember why they didn't continue watching it or something, but I started watching it with Kim, and maybe she thinks I want to catch it with her, so she hasn't watched any since. But we liked what
so
we
she's
saw.
gonna-
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was edgy and funny and pretty good for like a. Well, what
It's an
channel is that?
NBC.
Is that
That's a crazy thing. It's NBC, and it feels like, all right, this is pretty edgy for NBC. All right, keep it up, guys.
all right? How many months till it's on Hulu exclusively, and we don't have it on Broadcast TV?
Right? Who knows? Hopefully soon.
That's like the Orville, dude. Fox only. Or it's out of Fox now. It's on Hulu. Weird.
Yeah.
But now I have no excuse either. I got to just watch that damn thing.
You got to catch up with Orville.
Anyway, well, that's great, and I want to see it, and I'm glad to hear Pixar still got it, still has it.
Yep. Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
They're no short on this one. No Pixar short at the beginning, which is surprising.
That is very surprising. I would not have expected that. I would have
Yeah,
bet
and I
money
think
there
they're-
would have been one. Crazy.
I think they're done with those, or for some reason I'm thinking that Hollywood Reporter said that they're not doing them anymore, starting with this film. There's also, and just to warn you, mid-credit and post-credit scene.
Oh, good. Do they do? I like the fake bloopers they used to do, like in 2, I think it was. Did they do any of that?
They don't do those on this one,
Okay.
but there are vignettes
All right,
that are worth seeing.
I'm in. Have you seen Toy Story 1 lately? Have you?
No,
Okay, I did recently. Just caught it while it was on, while my niece was over.
Yeah.
Oh man, they've really come a long way. Like
Are they really?
the toys look fine. Okay, don't the toys, environments, that kind of stuff, not a problem. In fact, I'm sure that's the reason toys were the focus of the first movie, or the reason the Toy Story thing worked at all. Because if you're going to go feature length in 1995 era CG technology and technique, you probably are safest with objects that are sort of, the toys and not people.
Sure, right.
The
Little
people-
plastic shiny objects that everything's gonna look like anyway.
Yeah, the people are jacked. Like
Are they?
jacked up. It's really bad. Who's the kid? It's the evil kid with all the toys he's like mutilated.
Yeah,
Forgot his
I
name.
can't remember the kid's name, but yeah.
Complete, just horrifyingly.
Doll head with the erector set, spider legs. Sid. Yeah, Sid.
And he looks terrible. So anyway, they've come a long way. Well done, Pixar and the rest of the world. Okay, so this morning,
Yes.
2 things are wrong. One, my foot's killing me, but I still decided to run. Now my foot really hurts, but I don't care. I'm still going to run. So I ran today. I also have a sty in my eye, which
Oh, I hate those.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right there on the eyelid, like on the edge of it.
is killing me right now. It's like hurts so bad. It's making my right eye blurry. So there's that going on. So I'm just grouchy. I'm outside. I'm running. It's hot. I'm sweating already. I'm just annoyed, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to get all the way around the loop, and I'm going to be better for it, right? I'm going to have some energy today,
Sure.
and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And so I do that, and as I'm running, there's a lady, and the lady's coming my direction. I'm wearing headphones and listening
Okay.
to, and I'm not wearing my pods because they suck outside for some reason. I get weird interference on my
Right.
Bluetooth.
Yeah. With your phone in your pocket, they screw up. If you, by the way, if you get one of those armband things,
Oh yeah, then
your
it brings
phone
it closer,
can go into-
right? Because like right
yeah,
here.
and then you don't get that weird body interference, like your body is a sunspot or something
Yeah.
that causes interference.
Maybe the second iteration of that will be better because the headphones I use, which are just these Jabra, I forgot the name of them, but they're just over the head small cans,
Yeah.
Those are Bluetooth also, and they don't have any of the interference. So I don't know if because they're bigger, they can house a better transmitter, whatever.
Interesting.
But anyway, so I wear that, and running down the thing, and I've got a podcast going. Don't know what it's something NPR or something. And I'm running down the road, and I see this lady, so I scooch over, giving her a wide berth there on the sidewalk. And she runs up to me, and she puts her hand up kind of way early.
Oh.
And says, as she gets closer to me, says out loud, "Don't leave me hanging."
Okay. Wow.
And I went, "Oh, she wants me to high five her. This never happen. This doesn't happen out here. What is that
no
about?"
kidding.
So I did. I high fived this lady,
Nice.
and she goes, "Have a great day," and she just kept kind of jogging the other direction. So I just want to say to that lady, she'll never hear this, but she kind of made me have a better morning. Just she was like
That's
a bright
cool.
sunshine ball, and was happy to clap hands with a stranger, and didn't seem at all annoyed with me or what I was doing, and that was great. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just some random positivity, which is super, super cool. Like, it adds to your day.
she had a very sweaty hand, though, very sweaty.
And then you touched your eye, and now you have a sty.
I just know that just from the moment that we made contact, my mind went, "Oh, that's a wet slap. That's a wet hand that you got there." And then I kind of moved on. I didn't go, "Ew."
Sweat.
I didn't go, "Ooh," and wipe my hand on my shorts or anything. But I just kept going. Nothing wrong with a little wet slap now and again. If you need
Yeah,
to.
exactly. You're probably sweaty too, and whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I was totally sweaty. I'm sure our sweat juices combined and made a greater cocktail. Is what I'm thinking.
There you go. And now you have a sworn oath to each other or something, like it's the crossing of the palms, with a knife, and then shaking hands with the blood. So that
Oh man.
blood brothers. Now you're sweat sisters.
Sweat sisters.
She's your sweat sister.
She's my sweat sister. But also, hey, that reminds me, when you cut your hands to do the blood brother thing,
Yeah.
under what circumstances would you do that? Would you ever do that with anybody?
No, I would never do that. It's such a dumb thing. It's so, like, why in movies do people, and it's even like, "I'm proving I'm not a cyborg." Slice.
Yep.
See?
Yep.
It's like the dumbest place to cut yourself, because that's a very active part of your body. You're picking up and holding things, and in action movies, you're carrying weapons and things like that.
And you need it. You need the dexterity of your hands. Exactly.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to cut. Where would you cut for blood brothers? Like, I would do.
You do your arm?
I think my arm, and I do maybe like a little nick on the top of my arm, and then just we'll just rub arms together like that, and that would be.
I just don't understand the need.
I mean, where
to
would you
mix the
do it? Where would
blood.
you do it?
I don't need to mix the blood. I would just say, hey, if they said we need to be blood brothers because we've been through so much, and I'd say, we've been through a lot, and I think that's enough. I think we're as close as we're gonna get.
How about snot brothers?
And those other people that make a deal by spitting in their hand and then shaking it?
Right.
What are you all doing? What are you doing?
Right? It's like, that's great for the time being of the shaking hands thing, but now, like, I've got gross gross spit hand that not only has my own spit but your spit as well. I don't feel like I can touch anything until I find a restroom and wash my hands.
That's freaking horrific. People that spit in their hands and shake on it, you need to stop it. If that even happens. I've only seen it in like a movie. I've never seen real people do
I don't
any
know.
of this
Does
stuff.
it still happen? I'd be curious to see if anybody in the chat room has ever done the Blood Brothers thing or the spit in the hand, shake hands thing.
What's the thing in John Wick they do? They prick their finger in the medallion, and then they get a little blood stain, and that's like their. But they're not mixing blood. It's just
it's just their oath, their blood oath, or whatever it is.
Okay. I mean, can you see John Wick and Catwoman shaking hands with blood in their hands or spit in their hands? No, not even them. Not even the world of John Wick involves that kind of
I
contact.
had to think for a second. Catwoman. That's where you go with Halle Berry as Catwoman.
I couldn't think of anything else, and I also couldn't remember
Jinx,
Halle Berry.
maybe, or
Monster Ball. Old Monster Ball.
I can't remember her character name in Swordfish, but
Breasty McBreasterpants was her
yeah,
name.
sunburned booby lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunburned
Storm,
movie lady.
maybe Storm even. Yeah, that's a really good point, Max Payne. I forgot
Oh,
that she
right.
was Storm for a while.
Yeah,
of
because she
that.
was kind of unremarkable as Storm, sadly.
She was unremarkable as Storm. We had such witty dialogue as, you know what happens to a toad that gets struck by lightning?
Mm-hmm. She's not
Same as
great.
everything else.
I thought that's the worst line ever.
It is. It is. And I would even say it's worse than that. This doesn't feel like a party.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's one exception I'll make for that. This doesn't feel like a party line, which I really, really despise. Which is ironic because I actually think that Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow is one of the strongest points of all of the MCU. She is a great thread through most of them. I think half the reason I think Winter Soldier is my favorite is because she's in it. She is incredible in Endgame. Her acting is better than anyone else's. Like, she just killed it, yet she has the worst line in the history of the films, which is just kind of funny. She has the best and the worst in that series. Anyway, what was I going to say? I was going to say, here's the other thing. Somebody in the chat says, when I was a kid, I did the blood brother thing. But why did you do it? It's because you saw it on some show or some TV or some movie, right? No one does that.
Red Link said he did it. Pin in the finger.
Yeah, but
pinprick, so as opposed to slice across the hand.
It wasn't your own idea, though, is what I'm saying. You saw this somewhere and went.
Could have been. I mean, nobody says, you know what I haven't, you know what I've never done is cut my hand and then shaking hands with somebody else who's cut their hand. I mean, obviously they saw it in some film.
That had to have been it. I don't think anyone in real life ever did this. Maybe back some ancient civilization where, nobody understood what bloodborne diseases were. We're just shaking bloody hands left and right. I don't know. But in a modern context, don't do it. Okay?
Well, yeah. It does not seem like, in this day and age, sadly, seems like something that...
Any day and age, we just
bad idea.
We just know better now. Like, it was always bad. It's just that now we know, and we know specifically things like, I don't know, Ebola or
diseases.
Yeah, like if some guy's got Ebola, guess what? It's a great way to get it. Become blood brothers with that guy. You want the AIDS? Cut your hands and shake hands with somebody who's got the AIDS. That'll get you.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's move on and dive right into news because yesterday we had no news. Today we have all the news, and it starts right here.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive sensational summary of world and local events.
It's the news brought to you by
Alex Albisu's ANTP Diary of a podcast contestant or a reality show podcast contestant. He's been continuing doing it, and yesterday we put up Nicole's interview as one of the judges of season 1 of ANTP. Find out why Nicole almost quit, find out what convinced her to stay, and find out why we are all potatoes. You'll find all that out and more on America's Next Top Podcaster.com. Nicole's interview.
They get into the how she pronounces celebrity names or any of that. Was that any of that?
No,
covered?
They don't talk about that at all.
I was really hoping we'd blow the lid off that finally after all these years. Figure that out.
I know, right? Yeah, we should. That's still a mystery yet unsolved.
I didn't know she almost quit. That's crazy. I gotta listen to this now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big ask. Like, to critique these fellow human beings at a thing they were putting so much heart in was not an easy ask. It was a hard thing to do.
Yeah, well, it was an easy ask, and it was an easy thing for you guys to agree to. And then once you got into it and said, "Oh my gosh, this is hard," like they are hinging on what we're saying, and we're making or breaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we are determining at least their immediate future in this competition, and we're also putting something out into the world that's, going to be there forever, and it's critiquey and it's critical, and it's just it's a bigger thing than you think.
Yeah. But man, so much good stuff has come out of that. I know Amy's working on a new show that's going to be on the Frog Pants Network. Jerry Tolbert and Dan Patrice are working on a new show with Bridget from ANTP about medical issues. I mean, there's so much great stuff that's coming out. This is the stuff that Alex is doing. Gidget's got her show that new people are discovering because of ANTP. So I'm excited about that.
And let me say this: if you're out there and you're listening and you're like, "Man, I don't know if I can overcome this thing that I have to be a great podcaster," If Alex can get over his horrible voice, you can do anything. You can do it, you guys.
That's right. Exactly.
Just
if
look
he
at
can make
Alex.
it, anybody can. Yes.
His grandparents would be proud. I don't know why I said that. All right, moving on. Let's do our first story. There's been a man. A man has been accused of something.
Man.
He has been performing unauthorized dental procedures on horses. It's probably be worse if it's people because we worry about people more than we do horses. But
We do, yes.
and
Is it safe? Is it safe?
right, we ask that a lot. Horses just go, and they don't know what to say. It's a pretty good horse.
Does he try talking to the horse while the horse has his hands in his mouth, like, so doing up to anything fun this weekend?
Oh gosh, Wilbur. Yeah, I don't know what they do, but the Oak Bank man, he's from the Oak Bank area, which is where
Canada, Manitoba area.
there you go. Is accused of performing unauthorized dental procedures on horses. He's facing a lifetime ban against practicing veterinary medicine in Manitoba.
Only in Canada would people keep oak in a bank.
That's not really named that because there's oak in a bank, is there?
No, I don't think so. It's probably a bank of oak trees along a river or something.
Oh,
It's the
okay. I want them to store oak in a thing with like guards and they're armed and stuff.
First National Canadian Bank of Oak.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Just pick a knothole and shove your money in there, eh? It'll be safe. You won't put your name on it, eh?
Yeah, don't worry about it. This is the Oak Bank.
Just carve your name. That'll be your pin. Just carve your name into the area right above the knothole and then put your money in there. And then when you want your money, you just come and get it, eh?
Yeah. You ever seen paper? I don't know why it reminds me of that guy. Let's see. The Manitoba Veterinary and Medical Association is seeking permanent injunction against Kelvin Brent Asham, or as I would like to say, a sham. See what I did? Because literally,
I thought you were going to go ass ham.
I could have said ass ham. I could have said a shame, but instead it's a sham because you can actually separate the A from the sham. It's pretty good. And he's a sham. See, he's a sham.
He's a sham. He is a sham.
The organization is accusing of diagnosing diseases and injuries in horses, treating the animals and in one instance administering a sedative, all without clarification or certification of veterinarianism. That's not the word. All without certification as a veterinarian.
Veterinaryism.
Yeah. In court documents, let's see. The Veterinary Association claims it's been trying to stop Asham from diagnosing and treating horses for 3 years to no avail, claiming he conducts himself as if the rules don't apply to him. They say it is a display of lawless bravado. That's a good band, Lawless Bravado. Opening for who would they open for? What band would they open for?
Lawless Bravado is opening for Crime and the Punishments.
Perfect. Get your tickets now.
Weird. I was hearing noises in here. I guess it's just a pipe that apparently doesn't often get used or something that is making a lot of pipe noise.
Is it just like not like a banging noise, but like a water?
No, like a just louder than it seems like it usually is.
Maybe
Weird.
Tristan clogged the shitter. Maybe that happened.
Oh, could be.
Yeah.
Well, great.
Good luck with that. I mean, I'm not saying he would. I'm just saying I have a boy, and I know what's up.
No, he does. He does. Yeah.
Something funny. Speaking of the boys, something funny happened with Nick. I have to tell this story. He's going to hate that I talk about this, but he's been growing his hair for a long time, and it's been long and curly and gnarly, and it's just made him kind of into this, like, hey, man, just like, man, like, just kind of a loafy looking, laying around, looking at his phone, kind of hipster dude, thing going on. Mm-hmm. And he was getting tired of it. So he says, Dad, I think I should cut it. You think I should cut it? I'm like, yeah, you should totally cut it. You'll probably feel better or whatever. He goes, I don't know, maybe I'll cut it. Anyway, he gets a cut. So it's all cut, short, and, whole different kid. All that hair is gone. And suddenly, he's smiling all the time. He's got more energy. He went on a date last night. He's looking at apartments with his buddies today. He works later. And then he's going to come home and he's got some plans later with some other friends. Like, he's all of a sudden Mr. Activity Out of nowhere. His room's clean. He did it without being asked. What's with the hair, dude?
Wow. Yeah. Is there a girl involved all of a sudden? Is there a...
Not really, no. I mean, he went on a date,
Okay.
but it's just some new girl he hadn't met before. But he's like, it's complete attitude change without us doing anything or saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just completely flipped from kind of tired and it's hot and I don't want to do that. And,
You know,
whatever.
there's just stages, and we probably went through it too, and we were just forgetting, but like stages where you're kind of in a, not really a funk, but just kind of in a lazy, you know, I'm just gonna kind of coast for a little while. And then you come out of it and you're like, I really want to make something of the world. It's my oyster, and I'm going to grab it by the horns and ride it into town or whatever.
That's basically what's happening. Maybe he got
Mm-hmm.
some of that hot alopecia money, you know? Sold his hair
Yeah.
to some lady who said, we don't have eyebrows. Give me that hair. And he said, all right, how much? And they said $300,000. And now he's rich and he just hasn't told me. Maybe that's it.
And that's improved his outlook on life.
Yep,
Okay, it
yep,
could be. Totally could be.
But more likely, I think, as much as it sounds silly, I think you I don't know, when you buy into like an appearance or a I don't know, a vibe or whatever, it can sort of control your attitude. And when he cut it, it just something popped. It's like it's a whole new kid up there. I mean, we'll see if it lasts.
But it's funny that, I mean, we're looking at it two different ways. One way is that the hair caused the transformation, as opposed to the transformation resulted in the haircut.
Yeah, it's hard to say, right? I don't know what to attribute it
all
to.
happened at the same time.
All
So
kinda
which
happened.
came first?
It could simply just be, hey, this is one of those moments where he has he moves up a notch. It's okay. It's like it just all happened at the same time. Doesn't have to be a causality thing with the hair, but it did seem to
happens
coincide with it. But anyway.
happens with Tristan too, and I can't explain it. Can't explain that with science.
Oh, that's the other thing. He's up early, getting ready for work, and he's on his on a notebook on the kitchen counter. Like, what are you doing? Signing up for some classes. What?
Wow.
I'd like, what? Who are you?
What have you done with our son?
Like, just a few weeks ago, I was like, dude, what do you want to do about, you were talking about skipping a semester and working, and he's still thinking maybe, what do you want to do? And he just acted like he was all put out, didn't want to talk about it or whatever, but now he's doing it. I think what it is with him is if he does it, we're good. If it's us telling him to, no good.
Right. Absolutely. That's boy, that is Son 101, right? It's just the whole like, all right, you need to do this and you need to do this, but then when it's their idea, they're all into it and they do it without any problems or any question or any asking.
Yep.
You sure there's not some new girl that he's got his eye on that's
Well,
like,
other than this girl he dated
the date
yesterday, who, from what I understand, they just met. So it's possible, but he was acting like this before he met her. So maybe, and maybe she's just even like, she may be a real go-getter, and she's like, I'm looking for a boy who's got his head on straight. See?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean that women have an influence like that, especially on a on a young man who's ready to take on the world with a little bit of a life change or something.
On his erotic journey from Milan to Minsk.
Milan to Minsk.
Anyway, we'll see how it goes.
She's a Muncie girl, apparently.
Stack in the chat says, a girl or an Adderall?
Maybe it's Adderall Annie.
Could be. Maybe just kissing her gives you a hit, a contact
A little
hit.
jolt.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be it. He also did just get over a case of, not mono, what'd they call it? He had like a weird throat. It wasn't strep either, but
Thrush?
it looked like strep. I don't know what it was. It was something. He had some kind of
What is it? Yeah.
sore throaty thing, and it was really keeping him down. And it took like 2 weeks to get through it, and he got the haircut right after that. So maybe he's just feeling it on all ends, man. It's just like, let's go. Got this world. I got to take it by the horns, wrestle it to the ground, beat the shit out of it. All right, moving on.
There you go. That's it.
We don't talk about Nebraska people enough, so let's do a story
No,
about Nebraska.
nothing really ever happens in Nebraska.
It's a nice, quiet place.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are the senators from Nebraska? I actually want to know. Nebraska senators. Oh, it's that one guy I don't like at all.
Who's that?
Ben Sassy. He's
Ben Sassy.
Wait, is he the one I'm thinking of?
Go to your room, you Ben Sassy.
I don't know if that's I don't know if that's him or not. Yeah, I can't tell if that's him or not. There's one of these guys is not. I don't like him, but I don't know if that's him or not. I shouldn't say it because I don't know. But anyway, good luck to him and all his Nebraska needs.
His brethren, his Nebraska brethren.
Yeah, he seems fine. He's younger than us. That's starting to happen, you know. It used to be that all politicians were older than us. Not anymore.
Nope.
Not anymore.
No.
I think even Ted Cruz is like a year younger than us or something. I think he was born in 70.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know, I don't like it.
No, especially Ted Cruz. I mean, the dude.
Yeah, there it is, 1970, December 22nd, 1970.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz, born in Calgary,
That's all right.
Alberta,
You know
Canada.
what? He's older than us in spirit and in beliefs.
Every other way, every other possible way.
Yes.
Hey, it says that Raphael Edward Cruz was born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. How can you run for president if you are born in Canada? I thought that was I don't understand how that works. Am I dumb?
Dual citizenship or
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe they brought him right back over and said,
Well, I mean, you know, the president before Trump was born in Africa. We never saw a birth certificate, did we? I'm kidding, folks. I'm kidding. Jury coming up in about an hour.
"Oh yeah, jury will be here, but we're not going to talk about that kind of politics today. It's going to be a very specific.
Really? We're going to talk about office politics today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about why Janice steals all the donuts when no one's in the break room.
Right, exactly. We've got 16 bagels, but who used up all the cream cheese on theirs?
Yeah.
Janice.
Yeah, exactly. So wait, his parents were United States citizens after fleeing Cuba. They became citizens, gave birth to Ted over the border. I guess that would still make him a U.S. citizen, born
American
a U.S.
citizen,
citizen.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Ninja Steve Kurt. Yeah, I didn't understand how that worked. I thought it really was like a location thing.
Conceived in Cuba, born in the U.S.
Like if you just accidentally got born in like Austria or something, but you were just on vacation and your wife's like, "Oh, that's coming now," and you know the water broke and there's the baby. I thought that just meant, well, that's it. He can never be president. But I guess I don't understand that rule. That's fine.
I don't understand. Let's ask Jury about that. Actually, it's a good question.
He may know. He's a giant Wikipedia.
If anybody knows, it'll be Gerbs.
That's true. Well, let's get to this Nebraska woman.
Okay, Nebraska woman.
And she attacked something you hold dear, Brian. She attacked a local Spider-Man statue as a hate crime against Christianity after mistaking it for Satan. She thinks a Spider-Man is Satan.
Wow.
Yeah.
With great meth comes great irresponsibility.
There you go. Lincoln Star Journal or Journal Star. Do you know that one? Did you go there?
The Lincoln Journal Star. I did go to the Lincoln Journal Star.
Oh my gosh, how was that?
The Omaha World Herald. It was part of a whole Nebraska world tour where I think we hit the Omaha World. What's the OWC? Omaha World Citizen, and then the Lincoln Journal Star.
Omaha is where Steve Martin and John Candy got stuck in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, right, yeah.
The first city where they got stuck.
Wow. Many places they got stuck in that film.
Yep. I always
I
remember
want to
that.
see this. Why does Nebraska have this awesome Spider-Man statue? I'm looking at a photo of this thing right now,
I know, isn't it cool?
and that is really cool. Why don't we? Why is it, number one? Why is it at a zoo?
Right. Right. What's the deal there? What's going on with that? Hold on.
And why don't we have it here in Denver? We need it here in Denver.
I'm going to look
What
that
does
up.
Omaha have to do with Spider-Man?
Yeah, nothing is the answer. Was somebody big born there? Was like Stan Lee?
Oh, that's not a statue. That's a scene from Homecoming.
Oh, it is?
That's when he's holding up it's when he's holding up the side, or he's on the side of the
Oh. Well, this is a bad article then.
Lincoln Memorial. Isn't that right? Or am I mistaken? Yeah, because it's just a statue depicting Spider-Man's hand spinning a web. Is the actual
Oh.
statue?
Oh,
wanna see-
because
oh,
it's
here's the
making
statue.
because it's making the horns shape.
Yeah, here's the statue. I'm gonna put a link to the statue in the. Yeah, it's right. It's devil horns.
All right, I'm looking here.
Also, I think you need to take some Cialis or something if that's how your webs are coming out of your wrists.
Whoa. Now I need to see this so I can see what you're talking about. Oh, I see. Yeah, that thing's got problems. Wait a minute, that's why? What? Why is that a thing? Like, why did they make that?
That's a really good question.
Okay, well, she obviously thinks that Spider-Man's throwing the goat horns there.
Yeah.
It says the Lincoln Journal reported the offended Christian woman wrote an email to Mayor Larian Gaylor Bard. That's awesome.
Sure.
Larian
Gaylord Baird. Absolutely a Game of Thrones character, not a mayor.
from House Baird.
Yes, from House Baird.
House Gaylord would work as well.
Larian, quit challenging the Iron Throne.
You must throw your fealty before me. I love the word fealty.
Fealty.
Fealty. She demanded he remove the statue depicting Spider-Man's hand spinning a web, as she believed the statue depicted devil horns. Quote, "It is a sculpture of two open hands, painted red and black, and formed into devil horns," the woman complained, before going on to describe the statue as a hate crime against the church.
Oh, jeez.
The statue was on display as part of the Serving Hands Lincoln Public Art Project, in which several different sculptors depicted different sets of hands that had been erected in the Lincoln Children's Zoo. Oh, there was a lot of weird sculpture stuff in our zoo this weekend, too. There's something going on with zoos. Zoos are into the art right now. It's weird.
Interesting. There's I'm sure that noise that I just made will get capped out, but I'm sure there's like a lot of these hands all over the zoo in Lincoln, right? So it's like a little project where it's like, all right, do something with hands, make them this big. And so you've probably got like, hands holding the earth, and then another hand where all the fingers are different, races or something like that. Or
totally. I'm sure there are.
One white hand, one black hand.
She just doesn't like this one because, she not like Spider-Man in general, because a lot of times that's how he pushes his little buttons with these two fingers.
If she doesn't like Spider-Man, it's just because she's only seen the Andrew Garfield movies.
Then who can blame her, really, if that's the case?
Well, yeah.
Or even that third
Tobey Maguire movie.
Yeah,
oh,
it's really bad.
Oh,
what is he doing, by the way? Where's he at?
What, Tobey Maguire?
Yes.
What's Tobey Maguire doing?
I want to see what he's
got talent.
up to, because he's not in anything.
It's been a while since we've seen him in anything, isn't it?
He's he's in his 40s, so that's something, I guess.
40s?
All right, here we go. Tobey Maguire, IMDb. Why, by the way, do I get the mobile side of IMDb these days when I don't want it? Must be my browser. All right. It says here.
Wow. Last thing he did was The Boss Baby.
Yep, he was Adult Tim.
Yes. He was the adult. He was the boss adult.
Yep. He did two things in 2014. One was a TV series I've never heard of called The Spoils of Babylon. He was called Devin Morehouse in that. Then he did a movie called Pawn Sacrifice, where he played Bobby Fischer. I suppose that's some sort of chess thing.
Yeah.
Before that, Great Gatsby in 13.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, old sport.
So he hasn't done shit.
Not as an actor, but if you switch over to producer, he's producing something called McLean. He's producing Babylon, Rub and Tug, The Violent Heart. All of those are in
Rub and Tug.
Production. Rub and Tug. I'm sure that's about a Chinese massage place or something.
Oh, here it is. Let me give you the description. Rub and Tug, right. Based on the true story of Tex Grill, a trans man who becomes the crime kingpin of 1970s Pittsburgh through his empire of illicit massage parlors.
There you go. Rub and Tug.
Rub and Tug.
Rub and Tug.
Wow.
I'm Bob Rub. And I'm Mike Tug. And when we get together...
Oh, man. All right.
There's hell to pay. I'm a cop with a heart of gold.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently...
I'm an angry hooker on the street. Together, we're Rub and Tug.
There you go. Maybe he's just chilling. I don't know.
I really want this McLean... Oh, it is. This is a Die Hard prequel.
Shut up. He's producing
the one called McLean? Because that's what we do now. When we need to continue a franchise, we just pick the last name of the character and Creed.
Yeah, currently rumored. Let's see. It doesn't say much about it. Just that Bruce Willis is rumored to be cast. That's all. Director is.
Oh,
Len-
but everything else. I mean, it's.
Well, there's nothing else. Click on the thing. This looks very rumory.
I mean,
to
I
me.
guess it's announced is all it is.
All
so
right.
it's.
His last one was A Good Day to Die Hard, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Len Wiseman. I'm just checking to see if any of this holds water. It appears. Well, they're making a.
One of the last things that he's released, or that's been released, that Tobey Maguire produced, is Boys in the Wood. Set deep in the Scottish Highlands, Boys in the Wood is an archaic cocktail of generational politics, hip-hop loving farmers, and hallucinogenic rabbit shites.
Okay, I think Spider-Man 3 had a real effect on him.
I like the hallucinogenic rabbit shites.
Yeah, going from that to your rub and tug and your whatever, man.
Yeah, sure.
Rub and tug is very problematic.
It is. Have you capped any of his audio from the Spider-Man video games, the PS2 game?
No, is it bad?
I thought I sent you a link. Did I send you a link?
I don't think you did.
It is really bad. Let me find it here.
Oh, please. I would love that. I'm always on the hunt for bad audio, especially this variety.
Let's see. Here it is. Okay. I did send it to you, but it was in the mix of a bunch of other things we were discussing. I will put it in our Discord right about now.
Now. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, click
Spider-Man
that.
voice
Enjoy.
clips. Let's see what we got.
Enjoy
here.
the.
Let's play some of this.
Okay.
Hold on. You sure this isn't Rub and Tug?
Rub and tug the soundtrack.
Batter up, take a nap, Sap. This may sting a little. Hope your insurance is paid up. Coming at ya.
This is terrible.
It really is terrible, and it's delivered with such. Let's just get through this. Can I have my check now, please?
I am going to make a note of this and capture a bunch of that. That is horrendous. All right, well done. Oh, my eye, dude. I want to rub it so bad, but I can't. So I'll just rub above it. Oh, my gosh, it itches so bad. Okay, I'm stuck.
Now tug it.
Again, words overheard at the rub and tug down the road. Now tug it. All right. Well, anyway, she thinks it's devilly. Hey, let's move on to this. A restaurant in New Jersey is now making sandwiches with pickles instead of bread, and I am all for this. No
Okay,
problem
so-
with the idea.
Yeah, this is good. This is good for me too because look at that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I want that.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, this is not you hear about this and you go, "What?" and then you see it, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, come on, get through this. I should be using Brave browser because I'm gonna have to sit through a Yahoo Finance ad before I can see this thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, that is awesome. Look at pastrami and Swiss cheese.
Yeah, I would eat this.
Yeah, and again, Weight Watchers, no bread.
Yeah, pickles are nothing. Like they're
Pickles
nothing.
are way fewer points. I think there's still points because of the salt content
Right.
from the brine, but
Right. But it's good for you too, because like fermented stuff's good for your guts. Pickled things are good for your guts.
yeah.
Like this is just a better solution, and I would.
You just gotta get some big hunkin' pickles for this, but
I mean, is that a common? How hard do you think it'd be to get those? Oh, this is killing me.
not hard. I mean, I'm just wondering, the Vlasic jars, what you'd get maybe 2 in a jar with this thing. Oh, look at that sriracha mayo.
Right? Oh, and look, they've got
Okay.
little sushi rolls using. Not sushi, but it's rolls of. They take. How do I say it? They make spears, kind of like flat slices of the pickle, and then they roll meat and things in it and put a toothpick through it. Now you got a nice little appetizer-y unit. I'm terrible. I'm really bad at explaining any of this. So
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
I'm not
gotcha.
going to say any more words.
Cool.
Anyway,
Oh.
I just wanted to share
pinnacles,
that.
those are called, right? Those sushi roll kind of things.
Oh, and the thing in here is, did they say the name of the places I wanted to give them? Yeah, there it is. Elsie's. It's in Haddon Township, New Jersey. It opened in early 2019. Their signature dish is a pickle sandwich, which uses pickles in lieu of slices of bread. The sandwich is vessel and 2 scooped out halves of kosher dill pickles. So they scoop them out, which comes in an original or spicy flavor. Oh my gosh, dude.
Let's see. So yeah, I'm looking to see. We have a place, Denver chain of restaurants or sandwich places called the Spicy Pickle.
Mhm.
Maybe they're not specific to Denver, but I'm curious to see if they have a pickle sandwich. They don't. I think they just, accompany your sandwich with a pickle. But you think if there's going to be a place now that says, all right, we're gonna just break down and make a pickle sandwich, it's the Spicy Pickle.
I thought Spicy Pickle was your porn name. Now I'm confused. I'm so confused.
It's my middle name.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Spicy Pickle Ibbett.
Peter Griffin. All right. That was a fun little thing to mention. Now this.
Yeah.
Another woman.
Sure.
I promise we're not targeting women here today. This is just how it went with the stories.
She's not a Nebraska woman.
No. But she filmed a disgusting driver delivering Amazon goods pooing in her garden.
Pooing.
Not
Pooing.
not pooping, not
Right.
defecating.
Pooing is way funnier than pooping.
Oh yeah. I caught you pooing in my garden. Doing a poo.
Jeff Bezos, please. Look at my video of a man pooing in my garden.
What will you do about it? The clip shows a man wearing a high-vis jacket squatting behind a fence before wiping his bum with a piece of tissue. Once the man had completed his outdoor bathroom break, he threw the used tissue into the bushes nearby. Also not cool. Seconds later, he put his trousers back on and pulled them up. He then approached
He took
the
his
fence.
trousers completely off to do this?
Well, sometimes people need the full Monty. Sometimes you just
I need the freedom. I need full freedom to get this one out.
full freedom pooing.
Oh, here's the video.
He then approaches the fence of the woman's property before appearing to attempt to jump over it. The disgusting clip was uploaded on Facebook by Rebecca Eleanor Reed. This was on yesterday, or a couple days ago now. She said the gross clip was filmed in Calnwitshire, so this is somewhere in the UK. In the caption of the video, she says, "Amazon, what a pile of poo." And she did the poo emoji, not the word. It is literally what you delivered to me. Yes, it sounds funny, but it really isn't. He felt the need to hop over our fence and do a poo in our garden and back up the tissue, or what? Oh, bag up the tissue and throw it into the hedge, then hops back over the fence and walks off. We have evidence of who you are and your vehicle, Amazon. You need to sort this out immediately. Disgraceful behavior from an employee of yours, and you'll just say you'll sort it out. 48 hours later, and it's still there.
Oh, that video, too. It's too bad there's not more of her talking. Oh, he's pooing. He's pooing in me garden.
Me garden! That's far too close to... What kind of plant? What do you grow there in Britain? Zoe, help us out. What would you poo near? I don't know what your garden has in it.
My ferns!
Because when they say garden over there, don't they just mean their backyard or something? Like, you guys are weird about that. Right? When the UK says that, they don't mean... Like, you and I would say garden, and we think rows of growing food or flowers or whatever. Over there, they're like... Yeah, the garden is just like, we're having a barbecue in the back garden.
Oh, right. Like the backyard. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Here's the one that and I want Zoe, since she's in the chat room. I want to get an answer to this. So in the U.S., when we say, "Oh, he's a very upstanding person," or "You need to be upstanding," we're saying, you need to have a good, strong character, and you need to be a very good person. But I think in the UK, and Zoe can confirm or deny this, I think it just means standing up. So, be upstanding means stand up and applaud the person coming in.
So an upstanding person would be somebody who just happens to be standing up.
That's right. So, they say, please welcome the Queen of England. Please be upstanding.
Oh, yeah. So let's see what she says.
Okay, so... All right, so Zoe is saying be upstanding would be what you think too. So it means both then.
All right.
Okay.
Maybe we gave that gift to them. Maybe our meaning went back over the Atlantic and now they've integrated it into their lives.
Maybe. But yeah, there've been a couple cases recently where I've been watching something or hearing something that is from the UK, and they're saying, welcome so-and-so, please be upstanding.
Maybe they mean both, like stand up and look good and be good.
Could be, yeah.
All that. You're pretty sure, Pops McCline says he's pretty sure Shakespeare made up that word too? Maybe. Shakespeare made up a lot of words, man.
He did make up a lot of words.
We don't, we always think, oh, he did plays and stories and things, and we don't, we forget that he also like reformed a lot of English phrases that people still use today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
here we go. So I'm in the Cambridge English Dictionary.
Yeah.
Dictionary.cambridge.org, and it says behaving in a good and moral way.
Okay. So it does. So they agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least one out of every 10 British dictionaries agree. I like it.
Yes. All right, good.
Anyway, an Amazon spokesman finally spoke up about this and says this. To confirm, this is a driver for an independent delivery company that provides service to Amazon. We have very high standards for our delivery service providers and how they serve customers. We are taking this matter seriously and have reached out to the customer to apologize for the experience and offer support. What do you suppose that would be? Probably a gift certificate for some break.
Here's a free, right? Your next non-prime delivery is free.
Yeah, remember those Amazon coins? Maybe they do those still. Let's see. Is that still a thing?
Oh, I don't remember coins.
I do, but it was
physical coins.
It was kind of half-assed. It was like a little program they were doing, and I don't know if it's still going. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Amazon introduced Amazon Coins on July 13th, 2013, so it's been a while. And in the United States, they gave 500 free coins to all users of Kindle Fire devices.
Okay. JC Calhoun says it's coins for apps. Gotcha.
Oh, okay, here it is. Amazon App Store. There it is. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
However, in 2014, Amazon started to allow all Android users in Germany and the United Kingdom and the United States to buy, earn, and spend Amazon coins on the App Store using Android phones and tablets. Users could then get discounts when they bought the coins in bulk and earn coins through certain apps on the App Store. When they released the Fire Phone, remember the Fire Phone?
I do remember the Fire Phone.
That was a heap of...
Way more successful than the Fire Festival, but not by much.
Let me tell you the difference between pooing in your garden or tossing a Fire Phone in your garden.
Maybe it was pooing on a Fire Phone in the garden.
It's virtually the same. If I left a Fire Phone in your garden, it's as bad as pooing in it. It was a bad phone. It says the released Fire Phone, Amazon offered app developers 500,000 Amazon coins for each paid app or app with an in-app purchase. Okay. They call it virtual currency. The coins operate like digital gift cards, though, so it's not the same as like Bitcoin or something. One Amazon coin is worth 1 cent. That's a little fun note. They never expire. And let's see.
So if you have Amazon coins, then you still have Amazon coins.
That's right. It says here when a customer buys software with Amazon coins, the developer is paid in conventional currency. I guess they're still going. Good job, Amazon, with your coins.
Yeah.
Well done. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Bill will be here talking about making stuff in the world of making things. I'll bet he's still working on his book. That's my prediction.
Probably.
I could be
making
wrong.
A book.
Yeah. Then Jerry will be here. We're going to talk about God and presidents. Yeah, that's right.
Ooh.
That's right. Special subject. Presidents and gods and presidents. He has a special happening with PX3 that will go into this more, but I want to pick his brain and see what's going on. And
President Jesus.
Oh, everyone be upstanding.
Be upstanding for President Jesus.
He's coming now. And then we'll do more. So stick around for all that. In the meantime, Brian has a song he will now introduce to us, the audience. Go ahead.
I will indeed. This one's a lot of fun. Discovered this one this morning. This is a band called Mattiel, Mattiel. Actually, it's named after the lead singer. Her name is Mattiel Brown. They just rocked Glastonbury in the UK with a big music festival, but twice last month, including a song called Keep the Change. They are supporting their brand new album, which is called Satis Factory, like a factory that produces something called Satis, S-A-T-I-S. This song's a lot of fun. She's got a great voice, and just having a lot of fun listening to this song. It's called Food for Thought. Here is Mattiel.
Bucky Barnes, the camp's teenage mascot, exclaims,
"Boy, wouldn't it be great to have a guy like him around here?"
"You are my slave."
None of that came through my right ear.
Meanwhile, back at the booth of justice.
Remember that whole Brian in the booth thing? I haven't referred to that in a
Yeah,
long time.
I know. We haven't talked about the booth in a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Still in a booth. We just don't talk about it.
No, we don't talk about those times. No, it's funny though, because in the initial iteration of the show, the idea was Brian was going to be like this sort of virtual producer guy behind the booth that would quip and say things and do things. And I think I very quickly learned that was dumb, because Brian was just as good a co-host as he ever would be a guy in a booth. It didn't make any sense. So it just naturally turned into whatever the hell this is now.
Exactly.
But back in the day, we thought that was real funny. Brian in the booth.
Nobody puts Brian in the booth.
Yep, and jokes about it's not clean in there. When's the last time you cleaned the booth?
Right.
And
Steamy in there. Or when Fletcher came in and subbed for me one day, we talked about the mess he left in the booth. And
times they be a changing.
That's right. I actually thought about that first Intertecular we did after we started doing TMS. I thought about bringing some sort of like portable booth to stand in off the side of the stage for our live TMS. But
that's awesome. I didn't know that. That would
have
been
a lot of work.
2011, July 2011 we did that.
Yeah.
And remember the Tadpole was like this little group of like 8 psychos on the other side of the room?
Right, exactly. Off to the side with their matching t-shirts.
Yep, that would change.
Before Tank Girl was there, Cleo was there.
Yeah, April was there. April's also in Seattle, which is also where this guy's from.
But Bill just isn't thinking about danger.
Bill Duran, all the way from Seattle, Washington, at home in the studio, doing his stuff, making things, coming on the show and telling us how to do it. Bill, welcome back to the show.
I was there too.
Yes, you were.
Awesome.
Yeah, you were there.
Noah's? Yeah. Was that at Noah's?
It was at Noah's. In fact, I got to show everybody something. Hold on, let's see.
Oh my goodness.
And you and Brittany were taking photos of everybody too. Like had a little photo booth set up.
Not only that, check this out, Bill. This is back.
Oh, you still have those.
This is back when I love these. I've kept them. The duck one is somewhere here, but anyway, it's this big stand-up of this character Vince from a comic I used to do.
I didn't realize that Bill, you were behind those.
Yeah, he totally made those, and he made it so it was like cool backdrop for the photos we took. But then he's like, "You can have these," and I remember thinking at the time, Bill thinks I'm really cool. There's going to come a day where he's going to realize that I'm just a piece of shit like everybody else, and he's not going to worry about it so much. And it's all good. I'm fine with that because it worked out in the end. But this is one of my favorite things. I keep it in the office here. One of my favorite things you ever did. Yeah. So there you go. A little history with Bill. Anyway, hey, Bill, welcome back to the program. Tell us what's going on this week in the world of the makers.
We just finished up a big project. We're filming the last of it today, and then I think the video for that will go out next week, which is very exciting. It's like I said, big project. We're making something from Fallout, which means it has to be rusty. Well, not everything from Fallout is rusty, but most of it is.
Yeah.
This one in particular is ridiculously rusty, and we had some options. I want to talk about making rust on props. So there are many different ways to do it. You can do faux rust, you can do real rust. There we go.
Dust, sure.
We can do faux dust too. We can do real dust to move on.
All right.
So anyway, like fake rust, you could just paint using just normal acrylic paints, all the different colors of rust to kind of simulate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've seen a lot of people who are really good at this. They just look at good reference photos of what real rust looks like, and they'll layer on a bunch of different colors until they get it looking just right. There are a lot of other cool options out there. I know a lot of model making paints like Vallejo and Citadel and those.
Yeah, I love those guys. Yeah.
They have a lot of their own paints that are meant for doing rust effects.
Mm-hmm.
Something else you can do that's really cool is adding some sort of grit to the paint to make it kind of chunky.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it dries, that'll have the nice raised up texture. So some people mix in like sand or cinnamon because it's
interesting.
Add a little bit of grit to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what? It's funny. This whole thing reminds me. There's a similar challenge in 2-dimensional or even digital art, in painting, oil painting, acrylic or whatever. Achieving the look of rust in a, say you're drawing some old robot or something or painting an old robot is hard. It's that and shiny metal. Those are like the two really tricky things to pull off, at least realistically or even stylistically. And it's funny hearing you describe this. I wish there was a digital equivalent of cinnamon. I mean, I guess there kind of is, because you get lots of textured brushes and stuff, but that's a challenge regardless of this being a physical thing or even if it's just meant to be an image. It's crazy.
When you add, like, let's say you add sand to your paint, that sand is doing a lot of heavy lifting for you, you know? You see that texture because shadows are cast across it, and the sand is just there now, so it does it. But if you were drawing that, you'd have to draw all those little shadows.
Little speckles, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So does it still smell like cinnamon when you're done?
I bet it does. I've never tried that technique myself, if I'm totally honest.
Because this is a weird
I've seen
thing.
A lot of good examples.
This is a weird thing to say, but for some reason in my head, the world of Fallout smells like cinnamon, and I'm not kidding when I say that. I'm not. It's not just based on what Bill just said. I've always had the sense that if it smelled like anything, it would be bad. First of all, because there's lots of dead things and burned out things or whatever. But if anything smells good there, it's certain spices, and for some reason, cinnamon just fits that world, and I don't know why. So, for whatever reason, you're speaking my weird language today with this whole cinnamon business.
Maybe nuclear radiation smells like cinnamon. I don't know.
Maybe cinnamon toast.
So if you want to go real crazy cool, and this is what we did on this Fallout prop, is we used real rust. And you can do this. You can DIY this. You can mix up. I can't remember. You could look it up if you want, but it's like hydrogen peroxide and vinegar and salt, I think, some sort of mixture like that. It will oxidize like iron powder really quickly. So you could pick up some iron powder, you could put it like wet down the surface of your prop and just stick some iron powder on there and then spray it with this oxidizer, and it'll turn it into real rust.
Wow. Feels like it's the equivalent of going method acting, right? Using actual rust to make your prop look rusty.
Absolutely, yeah. The way I went is a pre-made kit, right? So it's a company. This one I use is called Sculpt Nouveau. They make their own metallic bases. So I used an iron base, which is gray acrylic paint with iron powder in it. And I just put that wherever I wanted it to be rusty, and then I sprayed it with their own oxidizer. And they have a couple of different ones that kind of react to the metal differently if you want to vary it up a little bit. So you can get really artistic with it. So you spray it down with this oxidizer and you leave it for like half an hour, and it starts to turn into real rust, which is
you're literally just speeding up the process of natural rust. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's hard to get a look that's more legit than that. Even if you're really good with a paintbrush and acrylic paints, the genuine article is really good. You do have to spray like a clear coat over it, so you're not holding a rusty prop the whole time. But
well, that was going to be my question, because once you've achieved the effect that you're looking for, you want to seal that effect and not have it be continual corrosion, and that stuff gets all over your hands. It's awful, and also not good for you to have in your hands. Get that stuff in your bloodstream's bad. So that's interesting. What do you use to seal it in? Just any kind of sealant you would use for any other paint project, or what do you do?
Yeah, for this one I used a matte clear acrylic spray paint, just a spray can. You can get a glossy one depending on the finish you want, and 1 or 2 good coats of that should keep you nice and safe. You can smell the rust if it's still not covered,
like a copper penny, right?
Give that prop a sniff.
Yeah,
if you can still smell the rust, maybe hit it with another coat, clear coat.
New book title: Sniff Your Props. I like it.
Sniff your props.
Yep.
The prop sniffer.
The prop sniffer.
Give your prop a sniff.
It's like the prop whisperer. He's the prop sniffer. I like it.
The prop sniffer.
There we go.
Sure.
Perfect.
All right. Nice. Real rust, everybody. Can you achieve... Sorry, it's a little side question. Is it possible to achieve some of the rust effects like an old car in the sun in a ravine somewhere? The rust is different than just, say, a pipe, because perhaps the car was blue, and that enamel paint over time... is part of the rust, and so you end up with this kind of more rainbowy effect and less just brown red. I mean, can you achieve those kinds of effects as well, or are you just aiming for the brown red of typical rust?
There's what's cool is this particular brand that I use, they have many different coatings. They're metallic paints, so there's different iron ones, different copper, bronze, different metallic coatings, and then they have all these different oxidizers that are meant to do different things. And once you start mixing and matching those, you can get a lot of different really interesting and specific effects. And you can layer them with normal paint to get that sort of paint chipping that you were talking about. Once you start layering paints like that, the results are limitless. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, I can't wait to see this project. You say the video post when?
Next Monday, in less than a week.
Ah, very cool. So we'll get to talk about the final product on Tuesday. Yeah, that'll be awesome. All right. Well, in the meantime, you often leave us with a secondary item, something to look at, someone else to check out. What do you got?
I do. I've talked about this guy before. Pablo, last name is Cimedevela, Cimedevela. He makes rings, and he made a ring out of a hex nut, this big hex nut. And it's awesome.
Hex nut, like I didn't know that's what that was called. A hex nut. Okay.
Everyone nut with 6 sides.
Everyone knows but me.
Hexagonal.
Because it's hexagonal. Yeah. I, for some reason, I just thought it was a nut.
Have you ever set foot in a Home Depot, Scott?
I have, but I don't like to spend much time there. Turns out. So he takes a hex nut, makes a ring out of it, and we all look dumb because this is cooler than anything we could ever do, is what you're saying.
Yeah, also he films all of this himself, edits it all himself, and if you watch the video fully, you'll find out that he's in a wheelchair. So none of us have any excuses left.
Oh my gosh. Not only that, he what's he do, like a little gimbal thing where his camera slides past him and stuff?
Yeah, he probably has like a little electric slider or something. Yeah.
That's so cool. He also beautifully films this. Like, this is like cinematic quality, like, I don't know what to call this. It's really nice, though.
This is amazing, though, that, like, I'm kind of, jumping ahead, and I'll agree on the beautiful shot work, but just how this thing is rounded and beautiful and polished and amazing. This is so cool. Oh, and there's a little screw. So it's screwed, the ring is screwed to the prongs that hold the diamond are screwed to the regular part of the ring.
Oh my gosh, dude, my dad would love this if he was around. So when he got engaged to my mom, instead of getting a traditional engagement ring, he took an old 7-Up bottle. Bill would love this, actually, because it's very makery, but he took a 7-Up bottle and made the ring part. I don't remember how he did it, but he somehow carved it out to make the ring part out of the green part of the bottle. And then, so that it would fit on her finger, and then on top, he mounted a diamond-looking chunk of the white part of another 7-Up bottle, so that it looked like a diamond, and gave that to my mom as an engagement ring because A, he was creative, and B, he was cheap. And my sister still has it, and it's like the coolest thing. So
that's cool.
Anyway.
Oh, he actually welded it. Okay, that's better. He welded one to the other. This is so cool.
Yeah,
this is just amazing.
I have to follow this channel. I like his little.
There's a dog in the background too. Just a random shot of his dog walking around behind him.
He has cool hair. All right.
Yeah.
Usually don't talk about our people's hair, but I like his hair. Anyway, Bill Duran, everybody. He has good hair as well. You can check him out at punishprops.com, his channel on YouTube, of course, and as always here on Tuesdays to talk about this cool stuff. Bill, have a fantastic week, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya. Wow.
How do I hang up on him? There you go.
That's once again Pablo Cimedevela.
Yeah, he's cool. He's got this salt and pepper long hair. And he just looks like a guy you want to hang out with and talk to.
That's badass.
Right. There you go. Cadaver says the same thing in the chat. He carved something out of wood. He says, I was crafty and broke. I have no problem with that. You know what? Would Wendy and me and the kids care at all that my dad's ring, would we care at all about this ring if it was a normal, traditional, bought it at Zales kind of ring? No. We would not care about that. We actually think it's cool because it's this homemade 7-Up bottle
made out of a hex nut or a 7-Up bottle or whatever. Yeah.
Right, or whatever it is. Like, that's so much cooler.
Carved out of wood. It is very cool.
So much cooler. All right. Just in time. I don't know why we don't call it that. We call it jury duty, but just in time pretty good.
Feels like such an overused pun.
Is it though?
Doesn't it?
All right, maybe you're right.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't want to.
Just in the nick of time.
There you go, nick of time.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Justin Robert Young joining us as he does every Tuesday. Sometimes we talk about politics, sometimes movies, sometimes all sorts of stuff. We really don't have any rules here, but he's here today, and we're going to talk about something very specific. about
No rules.
no
Just right.
no rules, just Justin's
No
non-rules.
rules, Justin.
Yes.
Yeah.
For some reason, you're quiet, and I don't know why. I have you at full
Well, I
blast
can
here.
turn myself up. How about that?
Yeah, baby.
Much
Is
better.
that it?
A little bit more, a
Turn
tiny bit more.
yourself up.
Just a little
Little bit more?
There you go.
A little bit more, huh? You want a
Yeah.
little bit more?
I
Okay, cool.
I like where you're at. That's pretty good. So you and I were chatting on texts, and we were talking about what we do today and this other stuff, and we thought, well, the only real major thing in my head is you got these this actual Mueller thing coming up where he's going to testify in front of Congress. And
We can do a real quick thing on that if you want.
yeah, I guess I just want to know maybe your brief expectations for that in terms of like one piece of the story is that the Department of Justice apparently have had multiple discussions with him about how he needs to stick to his report and nothing else, which seems weird because he doesn't get to really control that. They're gonna ask whatever questions they're gonna ask.
That's
and
also
then,
been his thing.
yeah.
Like, his statement was, I don't want to testify because the report is my testimony.
Right.
So now he's going to come there. So it I don't know. Look, he's a by-the-book guy. To be totally honest, I am just really looking forward to, what I've said in the newsletter and on the podcast was by Friday. Remember that Iron Man cover that, by the morning he'll either be sober or dead?
Oh, yeah.
The whole demon in the bottle thing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I kind of feel like this week is like by Friday, Donald Trump will either be on the road to impeachment or this Mueller thing will be done. And we will know that, like, because this is the echo of the echo of the echo. We have this gigantic, the heat of all the media, the heat of this unlimited funded report or investigation by somebody that, in general, most people could understand as a trustworthy figure. And then the report comes out. Take what you will from the report, right? I'm not saying whether or not it seemed to damper some of the collusion stuff, but certainly left some doors open in terms of the conflict of interest or the whatever the other thing is.
Whatever that fourth or fifth thing was, yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah, the other thing. You're obstructing justice. That's it.
Yeah.
But it's like we haven't had, the Pelosi and the Democratic-led House hasn't had an appetite to impeach him. So it's like, all right, let's try to start this car one more time. Let's have Mueller come out one more time. We'll turn the key and we'll see if anything happens. And my guess is no. And my guess is that by Friday, this will kind of officially be done. This will be over. We can focus on 2020.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're right. Well, it'll be interesting. I never heard that guy talk. I know he was, FBI director under Bush for a while, and then I don't know if it was part of Obama or not. I don't remember if he hung around.
He's gonna open his mouth and be, all right, so let's talk about my report real quick.
That's what I was gonna say.
He just gave a statement like in May.
Yeah.
I was in Italy.
Yeah, he did.
I was in Palermo, Sicilia, as sitting at a bar, and I could not get good enough internet to watch it, so I just sat in my Discord and I made people just repeat things that were happening.
Yeah, I've just never heard him talk, and everything I've only read stuff. So if I see any of this, I was thinking just like Brian, like what's that voice going to be? Because in my head it's very different than I'm sure it is. Anyway, we'll see how that all goes. But
Hold on, wait a minute. You've never heard him talk. You spend so much time complaining about politics online, and you've never. He's spoken publicly before.
I've never heard him
talk.
No, not even back when he was just a government DOJ guy. Like I've never heard the guy speak, not once. I don't know why.
So, do you read anything other than headlines? Do
No,
you just read
I read
headlines
no.
and then yell about it on the internet?
Are his voice? You're saying his voice is in articles that I've read? Like, what do you mean by
No,
that?
I'm saying that we live in a multimedia society where things are available. In fact, because of the pivot to video, almost every single article has an autoplay video that has, when people were covering his statement, which was like a month and a half ago, that you might have heard it.
So a month and a half ago, he got up and audibly said things? Because I don't remember that.
Yes!
Yeah, I don't remember that. I didn't hear it. I think I remember the thing and saw the words, but I just read like transcripts and stuff. I never actually saw it.
You said the words, John.
But yeah, for all I know, he talks like Bugs Bunny. I have zero idea. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's just so funny that that's where you go. And I've never heard Mueller speak.
I haven't.
Although, to be honest, that's probably the most refreshing take on this, because I am definitely very bearish on the idea that anything will change in terms of the impeachment push.
It'll probably just be a lot of nothing. Other than, you know what it will do? It'll expose how many people in Congress, both Democrat and Republican, haven't actually read the report. That's what I expect out of this, because there's a lot of them that just straight up don't read that big, thick thing. And many have admitted it. They're like, I haven't really read it, but I know what's in there. Like that kind of stuff, rhetoric has been going around for a long time since it was published. So my guess is there's going to be a lot of awkward questions that are like totally in print already in the report that they would have known was there had they read it. And that's going to be kind of funny to see that happen. But
well, that's the thing, is there's definitely a there's definitely a part of this that there is a theory out there, a theory of mine, that the reason why we have not had more of a vociferous impeachment push is because not enough people have read the Mueller report, which seems a little silly to me, because I don't think that what we have had less of in this entire thing is media coverage. I feel like this has been covered about as well as anything has been covered in political history.
I think you're right about all of that. So we'll see how it goes. Instead,
and maybe not well, but voluminously.
You're right. Yeah.
Before I blamed for that. No, there's just been a lot of coverage.
Yeah, well, you're not talking about the quality of the coverage. You're talking about
I'm saying a hefty word count.
The volume of coverage is what we're getting at.
It has been voluminous.
Yes. Yeah. Which is a great take on the word. All right. Hey, let's get into this thing you're doing on PX3, which is a interesting little.
Oh wait, no, I have a sounder for this.
Oh, you do? Sweet.
Yeah, we're celebrating on PX3 this week.
Let's hear it.
Because wait, hold on. I should have had it ready, but I didn't. Here we go.
That's how we do things here. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know.
Jesus is the one.
It's God Week.
He's the one.
If it ain't about Jesus, I'm gonna hit you with this cane.
There we go. It auto played. There we go. It's God Week.
I see the quality of your sounders has remained very consistent over the years. That was a lot like our old Game of Thrones thing. But anyway, so that's what you're going to do. Tell me, I guess explain that. What's the plan?
Well, we're just talking about God, man. We're talking a lot about God this week. So we have a great interview going up today with a chair at USC's journalism school, talking about how politics and religion have interplayed throughout history. And then we go through how the 2020 Democrats individually kind of handle their religious messages from either downplaying it or playing up certain themes to certain communities. I think it's a great interview. I think a lot of people will really dig it. And then on the main show, I'm doing what everybody has wanted, but nobody has had the balls to rank top 5 U.S. presidents based on God's love. Who loved God the most?
Oh my
gosh. We're going
gosh.
to rank them 5 through 1.
Can I guess at any of them, or is that, I don't want to blow anything for you in terms of.
Oh, no. Give me your guesses, because I actually haven't finalized yet. So I'm still in the formation phase of who's going to get that number 1 spot.
So who's claiming the most divine help or devotion or any of that? Like it's just
I'm going by who loves God the most. That's what I'm going on. Who, like, if we were to measure their love for God, and I'm gonna say it would be any religion, but let's be honest, we've pretty much only had either. Like, if you're really, really into God, you're probably evangelical if you made it to the White House. So
Pence feels like the obvious current number 1 choice.
Well, he's not president.
Not president. Unless
we're only going
reading
presidents.
The impeachment and removal fanfic. Right? Not the current president.
Reading it, he couldn't have been writing it.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
That's just presidents.
Just presidents. Yeah, because you could have given, if it was VPs. Who was the guy that ran with Bush Senior? It was everyone made fun of him because he spelled everything wrong.
Dan
Oh,
Quayle.
Dan
Quayle?
Quayle, yeah. Dan Quayle was pretty religious, but he never got president.
Everything
So
wrong. Spell potatoes wrong, and nobody will ever let him forget about it.
Oh no, dude, we now live in a time where he's the least. I mean,
Right,
whatever.
I know,
if
I
we're
know.
talking about people's typos, I mean, good lord,
Yeah.
we're done.
Right?
That era's
Okay,
over.
Come
No, but
on.
He was correcting a child who was right. Like that. I feel like that's
right, yeah.
still today. That would be a huge thing. Although you do bring up an interesting concept of whether or not that would be a bigger or smaller scandal. Like, would it be something that would become a meme for all times because now we would be able to remix it and make it into all different things, or
Yeah.
would it just be another drip in the ever gushing rapids of content?
It's also really strangely bipolar now because you have a sitting president has multiple credible claims of rape against him, and then you've got Joe Biden kissing his granddaughter, and that's if anything more controversial than the news that the most recent rape allegation got. Like, we live in a weird time. It's like if Trump does it, or if whoever's in power does it, maybe it's
I don't think that I mean, like, that was like some stuff on Twitter, but I don't think it got the kind of coverage. I mean, that lady was on CNN. It's like, although her testimony on CNN, I think, did a lot to kind of tamp down how much we were talking about her claim.
maybe, I don't know, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
but
I mean, she said that like she doesn't consider it rape because rape can be sexy. Like she had some weird stuff going.
Well, okay, but all that being said, I guess what I'm saying is they're worried that I don't know, somebody blows something up like, can you believe AOC said this thing about Republicans? How offensive. And then it's ridiculous is what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is there's no semblance of like normalcy to any of this. If you're on the one hand, it's not controversial to tell a black woman or a woman of color in Congress to go home to where she came from, but it is controversial to kiss your granddaughter. It's just an odd
if
thing.
you're looking for moral equivalency on Twitter, like, you are just walking into a hall of mirrors blindfolded. Like, I have no idea what you're looking for in terms of like balancing and weighing. I mean, because we don't even see the totality of Twitter. Like, it's not like we even see like a word count of like how many people are saying this, how many people are saying that. We see what we see. We see our self-selected thing, and we get angry about it and we move on. Can we talk about Jesus?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. You kept saying, wait a minute, tell me about this thing.
All I was saying was that whether or not potato would be a big meme thing. You're the one who brought it into rape.
No, it's because the conversation continued, so I moved from potato to rape.
No, you continued it. I was like, I wonder if they would remix the potato clip with like a bunch of like some silly hip hop stuff, or if it would be like a Drake meme or something.
Whatever.
And you're like, I don't know. Let's talk about this rape allegation.
I was all ready to go to the Jesus, and you went, wait a minute, and we backed the truck up. The only thing missing was the beeps.
I was just talking about the potato thing. Good God.
Well, yes, you were. All right, tell me about. Okay, we're gonna make some guesses. That's what we're doing, is guesses.
Yes, guess.
All right,
See?
all right. I'm going with I think Lyndon Johnson's up there. He did a lot
Lyndon
of
Johnson. Why would you say LBJ?
He did a lot of God talk. It feels like I watched a recent documentary, so it's fresh in my head. He was always invoking the Almighty all the time.
I remember the Bush Jr. Bush the Jr. was
W is on. He is on my short list.
Yeah.
W would be probably the person who brought, evangelical politics. Well, I mean, there's one that I don't want to get to because I think he is my likely number one. But W certainly more recently had the story, right? Like he had he was a drunk. His life was on the rocks, and he meets his wife, or his would-be wife, and she's like, either you get clean and find the Lord, or we're done. And then within 15 years he's governor of Texas and president. And so like that is something that he was very open about. He talked very openly about, and so that was certainly an evangelical message. That is a message of redemption and salvation through the Lord Jesus Christ.
Okay, how about Reagan? Where's he up there? because he did a lot of God talking.
I don't really have Reagan up there. Like, I mean, again, there is certainly a line for which every president talks about God, but like, I don't think that Reagan's not on my short list right now on whether or not he loved God the most. I mean, come on. Can an actor really be on the top 5 loving God the most? I mean, they're lying to their fellow man. What are they doing?
On a regular basis.
Who else then? Let's see.
I mean, the chat room is pushing for Carter being up there. Is he on the short list also?
I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna tip a little right here just for the TMS faithful. Unless I find some crazy stuff that I was not aware of between right now and tomorrow, Carter's my number 1.
Oh, interesting.
Carter was a door-to-door evangelical Sunday school teacher, taught Sunday school in the White House.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay.
I mean, you know, for everybody who's like, oh, you know, W was really, you know, brought in this religious element. You know, it's like, man, imagine if he taught Sunday school in the White House. Like, that would be something that would have been a really, really big deal. And people kind of forget about that with Carter. But there's a lot of good discussion about Carter on the interview today, and that's what kind of led me down this path of like, I wonder if there would be an interesting discussion of who loved God the most.
Yeah. Well,
and by the way, yeah, Penny pointing out in the chat room that he still teaches Sunday school.
Yeah, it tends to. I mean, in my mind, he also sort of walks the walk. He's not just like you can hear a lot of this stuff on mic and on stage and on podium. That guy seems to be just always like doing it. He's building houses for old people. He's teaching Sunday school on Sundays.
Tough for humanity, yeah.
I'm not saying all that. I'm not up or downing that one way or the other. I'm just saying if you're gonna give a guy the top spot, probably helps that he seems to be actively engaged in it constantly, and that's probably. I think he's probably. I would put him at number 1 also. I can't think of anybody who does that or has done that. Let's see. As far as like, there's got to be some oldies in there, right? Though you got some like founding father level dudes or something that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you hear all the phrases of for God and country and all that stuff, but I can't think of which older presidents kind of really pushed that.
So I got James Madison on my short list. I got Abe Lincoln on my short list.
Oh, really?
I got William McKinley on my short list. But I don't know what the rankings are going to be. But we're going back.
And I don't know them at all. I don't know jack about those guys.
Well, you want to know what? You're going to learn a lot.
Well, that's what it sounds like.
On the PX3 show on Wednesday. But let me ask you this, because this is a conversation that I had with myself while I was doing the PX3 Extra on Monday, thinking about modern religious presidents, right? And I got to thinking about, Mitt Romney's run, and I think I never really felt like he was able to have his moment discussing his faith without kind of like half politically shielding it. You know, I never really felt that he was able to kind of do that. He never had his moment like Kennedy did with Catholicism, or with Obama on race. It's like nothing that you should be ashamed of, obviously, but it's something that does it would benefit you if you could explain it to the wider audience that might have preconceived notions that are harmful.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certainly a percentage of the population that would be turned off by a religious president and would not vote just based on that alone.
Yeah, but in this case, this is what that boiled down to, in my opinion, was he, correctly or not, felt it was politically expedient to not get too much into his Mormon faith, because it is, especially on the evangelical side, a lot of those folks are raised to just think that Mormons are horrible and they don't go near them. So there was already a lot of criticism in that regard. I think Ted Cruz was saying some little sneaky stuff. Like nobody wanted, or how do I put this? He didn't want to lean into it, and I think it was a mistake. I think he should have leaned into it as much as any other president does. Yeah, he just leaned into it. Warts and all, just like take it, own it, and
well, just explain what it means to you. And also there's, I was talking about this on the show, that like, if you were to ask Mormons and evangelicals, like, all right, 1 out of 10, how much of a role does faith play in your life? Like, probably be pretty high. How much would you like the lessons you have learned in your faith to be reflected in the government that guides us? Probably be pretty high. And then if they found out that, like, or the evangelicals found out that it's like the Mormons had the same number, they'd be like, oh no, except for them, don't like them. It's so weird how in society like often breeds the most resentment.
Yeah, it's almost like we're tribal in nature and we're terrible at this. It's possible.
But yeah, but the tribes that are closest together, you have the most friction with. Like if you tell somebody from South Carolina, like, oh, I thought that Charleston was in Montana, they'd be like, whatever, that's kind of stupid. If you said, oh, Charleston's in North Carolina, they'd be like, I'm gonna kill you. That's ridiculous. Oh my God, would you say that? And it's like, dude, your states are both named Carolina. Like, it's just easy to mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm not as surprised because the further away from you are, the less you see each other as a threat. The closer you are, you see each other as rivals. And I think that's what it is. It's like, if you and some other kid in school are really good quarterbacks and it comes down to just one coach with a final vote about who gets it, that's real rivalry. That's rough stuff, and you got people on both sides yelling at each other. I think that's worse when you're closer than it is. It seems like it shouldn't be. It should be the opposite. It's like, oh, we're all in the same boat. Let's go. We're doing good here. But I think sadly, I think that's just how people are. Closer you are to whatever. Like if you were. That's a bad example, but I think that makes my point. I think the closer you are to this stuff, the closer you are to being the same, and then you don't like it that the other guy's getting more press than you, or more parishioners than you, or more money than you, or the more whatever. So I don't know. I don't know why he didn't lean into it, though. I think it would have benefited his campaign if he had.
Yeah. And I don't know why I spent so much time thinking about Mitt Romney's failed attempt at the presidency in 2012, but I do agree. I think that there's plenty of ways that you can, because I don't know, he tried to take the tact of just saying like, oh, I'm a Christian and don't ask any more questions.
Yeah.
Because that's where it ends.
Yep.
We're just both, hey, we're all a bunch of Christians here. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
moving on.
That won't work for the Southern Baptists alone. That's not enough for them. I've been through this. I know what that's like, so I get it. But he should have just owned it, and it's unfortunate, but I'm not sure that would have won it for him. I don't know. Probably not. He's just,
No, I mean, I think he would have, again, he was running against an incumbent president. Incumbent presidents are hard to beat when the economy's good. So I think he was running uphill no matter what. But yeah, it was, I don't know. Any other thoughts on God? Tell me all your thoughts on God.
Because you'd really like to meet him?
Yeah, really like to meet him. Trump's not on your list, right? I know he waves the Bible around and pretends like he cares, but he's not on there.
I mean, look, Donald Trump is kind of an example of where we are right now. I mean, in terms of the relationship, and really that would be the reason why you would say that Mitt Romney should have leaned into not only connecting on the things that he had in common with the evangelical community, but what Trump cracked was like, it doesn't really matter as long as you're attacking the enemies of the evangelical community, or at least the perceived enemies of the evangelical community. And that's what Trump figured out. And so it didn't matter how many times he got up at Liberty University and talked about how 2 Corinthians was his favorite Bible verse or whatever. Like, look, evangelicals know that he's not exactly up on his scripture, but as long as he is their flaming sword against the people that they see as larger enemies, then they don't care that they're voting for somebody who has made his entire brand on being like a literal Bible villain.
It's funny you guys said, or the way you said that about the flaming sword thing is funny, because this came up in a conversation Carter and I were having when we watched Good Omens, which we really enjoyed. That show's fantastic. Got
a little annoying for me, but I enjoyed. I let me put it this way: every time that the angel and the demon were on screen, I really had a good time.
Yeah, that's the best bits. Yeah.
And the 3 episodes we spent in the woods where none of the characters made any kind of character development, and every once in a while CGI eyes would show up, were my least favorite.
I'll give you that.
The kids, yeah.
I'll give you that. The books,
Sure.
the book's a better overall experience in that regard. But I like those two so much that it was hard for me not to enjoy myself. It was a little Torchwoody. I mean, I have other complaints about the way BBC TV shows look and feel, and they seem a little low rent sometimes and stuff like that. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And there was a scene early on where the flaming sword is put in front of the garden to keep everybody out now, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I think Carter's the one that said it. She goes, "That's like Trump." I said, "What do you mean?" It's just a dumb sword and it's on fire all the time. But religious people can use it to block stuff out. I think is kind of her. I'm paraphrasing, but she basically made this comment about that sword is it doesn't matter if the sword is good or bad or a piece of shit. It just needs to be on fire and in the way.
Oh, it's a symbol. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just needs to be in the way and on fire, and that's good enough of a tool for religious folks, or maybe even, like we were finding all these weird parallels of, between Aziraphale and I forgot his name, Crowley.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that came up, and I thought it was kind of a wise thing to say. And then you brought it up today, and I went, "Oh yeah, that thing we were talking about." So yeah, like
I think that's a very astute observation by Carter, because politically, look, there are many elements of society on all throughout the political spectrum that believe that we are at a crisis point, right? And evangelicals can often fit into that. And so who appeals most to those that are in crisis? The fast actors, the people that are doing it now, that are doing it harder, that are doing it faster. And so if we are, past, 25, 30 years past the kind of like silent majority and the moral majority and everything, and the candidates that have been produced have been very well-meaning, very pious, but low on the effective rate, then who seems more attractive? The person that is jumping up and down and saying this is going to change right now, and this needs to change right now because our country's falling apart.
Right. My own opinion is I like presidents that steer away from mixing religion with state. I'm a huge fan of this is just Scott and this is nobody else, and I'm not looking for a fight. I'm just saying that whole church and state separation thing feels really important to me and always has. And it was plugged into me very early in life that's a thing that you should always, strive to support. So I like it when that happens. When people start pulling out their verses or pulling out their, platitudes, churchy platitudes at a pulpit, I immediately don't trust whoever that is. Not that it makes any difference in our current political climate, but that's where my head's at usually. I usually hate that. Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I would say personally, not a big fan myself. I don't know if that communicates to me as a citizen or a voter, knowing more about the Bible than I do. Because you want to know what? I probably know more about the Watchmen comic. So.
Did you see that new trailer for the TV thing?
Yes, I'm in for any Watchmen thing. So Watchmen's the best. I love Watchmen. It's a book that I feel like, unlike many of the things that I fell in love with in my teens, actually holds up and becomes more rich and rad each time I read it. I'm cautiously optimistic. I like the fact that they've skipped forward. But the problem with trying to overlay modern politics on the Watchmen is that Alan Moore's a crazy person. And so like he doesn't have like the same political compass that we would, right? That an average person would. So it's like I'm curious to see where it goes. But the stuff that makes me the most wincy is some of the Rorschach stuff, because Rorschach is the most fascinating character in that book, and he's fascinating because he's kind of crazy and wrong, and yet in a world that is being hoodwinked, he's the only one that sees the truth.
Yeah. You hear about him, he's finally retiring from comics, he says. This is breaking news last week.
Alan Moore?
Yeah. I thought it was done. I thought
Hasn't he done this before? Like, hasn't he?
Yes, that's the thing. Brian, you're totally right. Like, I think he said on multiple occasions, I'm done. And then this thing comes out, he says, I'm officially retiring from comic book writing. And I went, really? I guess I'm officially retiring from what I can remember, because I don't remember this. It's very weird.
Like, how does that work, though? He doesn't work at the post office, right? A publisher like pulls up to his, pulls up to his house in whatever English countryside. He takes off his snake magic rings so he can shake their hand, and then they say, "Here's a gigantic amount of money, and we don't care when you turn it in or what it says." And he's like, "Let me think." Okay, sure. It scribbles whatever down and puts it out. Like, he's just a legend. So if I don't know, hopefully it's not a health thing. But as far as I'm concerned, he is, if he wants to live forever, conjuring, then good on him.
Yeah, good luck to him, I say. He's made some amazing content in the world. Even though you're a little bit of a wackadoo, we love you, buddy. We love you.
No, he's rad.
Justin, it's been a pleasure. So this is Wednesday that you're doing this this public service of who's the most godly president we ever had.
We're ranking them.
Ranking them up.
1 through 5, the most godly, who loved God the most. We're putting that up there. That is on PX3 Prime on Wednesday. And then today we're doing the interview about just religion and politics through the lens of history, and going through all of the 2020 candidates that you would care to hear about, including Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg being a gay candidate that is leaning more than any of the other Democrats into his faith, talks more openly about his faith, how Bernie Sanders handles being both an atheist currently and of a Jewish heritage and Jewish culture. And then, of course, Marianne Williamson, who is leaning into a far more spiritual element of Christianity, but it's something that is rooted in faith nonetheless. So I think it's an awesome interview, and I can't wait for people to hear it.
All right. People should check it out. Tell them where they can get it, and anywhere else you want to plug today.
Go ahead on over. Politics.com had been just a place where I would upload the podcast, but now I'm actually posting. I'm doing a little bit of blogging these days. I'm posting some YouTube videos up there, so that's pretty cool. And then of course, on all the podcasting platforms that you already enjoy, you can find Politics by Justin Robert Young.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Justin R. Young on Twitter. Stay out of trouble.
See you, Gerbs.
Wait, back it up. Just kidding. I hung up on him. Wait. I mean, you heard him say that, right? He pulled me back to get started again. I was done. I was moving on.
Yes, right.
All right. Welcome back to the show. We're done with Justin, and now we move on to nothing else.
Nothing else.
I got some emails. I should read this. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Let me read a quick email.
It feels just, right. Like, you don't want to just end on that.
Yeah, you gotta finish with something like this. Here we go. TMS. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. Okay, that's that's for TWBD. I have a couple of these I pulled out for a reason. Oh, here we go. There. I want it open. There we go. Nope, it didn't work. Okay, well, this has gone great. Oh, there it is. I found it. This was sent in by a listener who stayed anonymous, and they wanted me to know about this link, which was this. Did you know that you can rent the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile on Airbnb this summer only? Did you know that, Brian?
I did not know that. I remember when they were looking for a driver about a year ago, we were talking about on the show and how fun that would be to be the driver, but you can actually stay in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
Yes, and here's the link. Put it in the chat just now. Click that.
Okay.
And look at these Pinterest images. Look at that.
That would be awesome. But you don't get to drive it, right? You just get to sleep in it.
I believe you do not get to drive it, as my understanding.
It's funny. I asked that question, and that's exactly what it says underneath the headline. No, you can't drive it. You can only sleep in it, like verbatim.
It says, let's see. Let me get this screen up here. It says that dreams can come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes that shape is a giant hot dog. This summer, Oscar Mayer is helping people make dreams come true for some lucky hot dog lovers by the first time ever, letting people book a one-night stay. That's all you can do is one night in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile on Airbnb. These images show you that it's got some pretty good amenities. Says it is a one-bed, one-bathroom traveling giant hot dog that accommodates 2 guests at a time and will be available in Chicago on the nights of August 1st and 2nd and 3rd. Which also happens to be Lollapalooza weekend, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, gosh. That's going to smell wonderful in there.
Think of the debauchery that'll happen in the Wienermobile.
Yeah, right. I just banged a girl I met at the concert in a Wienermobile.
Yep. Gives new meaning to Wienermobile. It says this is going to charge. They're going to charge you $136, by the way, for a night. That's what you'll pay.
Oh, I'm kind of bummed. I was like hoping that this is when it travels across the country, you get to rent it for the night that it's in your town. So when it comes to Denver, I would, Well,
maybe they don't say, but maybe they will.
It looks like it's just saying August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Okay. And they're only one of these? Is that all that ever exists? Is this single Oscar Mayer Wienermobile? And this is all they've ever made, I guess? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question.
Because if
there's got to be more than one.
Yeah, there's got to be more than one. Now, this video is showing them give people hot dogs out the door, but I guess
I don't think you'd be responsible for feeding the unwashed masses at Lollapalooza.
Can you imagine? Make you one of the deals.
You're gonna pay $136 and you have to feed people. When somebody comes up, you have to give them a hot dog.
Yeah, that's nutty.
No, thanks.
That's pretty nutty. Anyway, thanks for that one. We appreciate it. It's gonna do it for the show.
I would totally do that if it came through Denver. And
oh yeah, you just to get. I mean, even just to talk about it
do
here.
A live TMS from the Wienermobile. Come on.
Oh my lord! Don't get me excited.
Yeah.
Don't get me excited. All right, we're gonna take. They say they have 6 new hired hot doggers. Okay, they have 6 of these cars.
6 Wienermobiles.
Yeah,
okay.
Traveling around the country, according to DJ Stengel, who is always spinning the hits, dropping the beats. We're going to take our leave. I want to send our appreciation out to everybody who is supporting us on Patreon. We're nearing the end of the month. If you haven't joined up, it's a great time to do it. Over at patreon.com/TMS. Help this show survive and thrive. It pays our bills, and it makes it possible for us to donate so much time every day, 5 days a week, to this enterprise and this ordeal. So please check it out over there, patreon.com/TMS. And if you're looking for ways to contact us, looking for phone numbers, Twitter accounts, Reddit pages, all that stuff, you can find it at frogpants.com/TMS, including our, if you're up to 200 episodes caught up and you're like, I want to hear everything all the way back to the first show, there's a link for that feed. It's available, and all of the archives are there. You got to go put that in your player, whatever podcast player you're using, and boom, you're in. That's
your
over.
iPod Touch.
That's right. If you're still using one, I guess those are still
your
out there.
creative jukebox nomad.
Your what was the chocolate covered Microsoft?
Oh, the one that looked like a Toblerone shape?
The Zune. Who made the Zune?
Oh yeah, your Zune. Oh yeah, that was the chocolate covered one. I'm thinking the one that was Toblerone shaped, like it was the
right, the
triangle.
little they were actually a whole bunch of those started to exist, but the first design was that Korean company. It was a rage for a while. People were into that thing.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. Anyway, Brian still has the chocolate Zune.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Thanks to a listener who gave it to me. I don't have it behind me anymore because I'm 3D printing a Star-Lord helmet, and I'm going to actually mount the Zune in front of it, constantly playing 70s hits. And you can walk up, plug a pair of headphones. Actually, there'll probably be a pair of headphones plugged in, and you just put the headphones on and listen to 70s hits whenever you want.
That's the coolest thing I've heard all day. That right there. That sounds awesome. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. We should play a song. Speaking of music, what do you have?
Yeah, Stuart Cooper wrote in and said, before our wedding, my wife Natalie and I couldn't agree on whose version of For Once in My Life was better. I preferred Stevie Wonder's fresh, optimistic version, while she preferred the bloated bombast of Michael Bublé. The bloated bombast of Bublé! That was 14 years ago, and I still prefer Stevie's version, but could you please play the Bublé Bombast for my wife? I love you, Natalie, and look forward to doing more life with you. Aw, super sweet, Stuart. No, I'm not going to play the Bublé version because you both are familiar with it, and you're familiar with the Stevie Wonder version as well. By the way, the Stevie Wonder version, also not the original, is originally done by Barbara McNair, although she recorded the first version, but Jean Deshawn actually released the first version of the song. So both of those before Stevie Wonder. Gladys Knight's covered it, Tony Bennett's covered it, Frank Sinatra's covered it. The version I'm going to play for you is none of those. Dion Ferris did a great version for The Truth About Cats and Dogs. Almost chose that one for today. No, I'm going to choose one that neither of you guys have heard, hopefully, and that you guys either can both love as kind of the merging of your tastes, or both come together and hate if you don't like it. But I love ska.
Yeah, you're a ska man. You like a good
I'm a big ska fan.
Sure.
The Holophonics on their 2013 Volume 3 of their Masquerades series, Masquerades, all cover series, did a version of For Once in My Life. I love this version. Hope you guys love it too. Hope you, Stuart and Natalie, hope you guys both enjoy this version too. Here are the Holophonics, For Once in My Life.
See you guys tomorrow.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
The feel of a plump pink nipple between my lips.
Ugh.
Oh,
Ugh.
God, it sounded like